Welcome back to our background series. Today we are going to be using pastels in our coloring book, and there are 3 examples, and I will be doing a voiceover. Our first example is Pan Pastels. I will be completing a page from the book Flowerscape by Maggie Interios. I am using Pan Pastels and holding up the 5 colors on screen for you to see. I will be using Sofft tools. They are for Pan Pastels in particular. I am first coating the entire background page with the light blue, and I'm just using the Sofft tool on a stick, which is just a foam slipper basically on a stick. It allows you to get into a very detailed area, and it doesn't take much Pan Pastel, so I haven't been dipping it into the pastel. I've used it quite a bit. Once we have a fully covered page in the light blue, I am taking a clean Kleenex and just buffing it basically into the page and smoothing it out a bit. I'm going to be doing other things to this page as well, so I don't need to have a solid coverage, but I do want to make sure that the first layer is in there. I'm now taking a stencil and a clean eraser on a stick, and I am lifting off sections of the pastels. Shaking of the screen, I can't help that. After I've lifted it off, I'm taking a clean small makeup brush and brushing away the debris from the eraser. I'm just doing this all over the page, variety of sizes of circles and in some interesting spots, and always brushing away the crumbs with a clean brush. Enough clear circles. I'm now taking a second stencil, and I'm going to take a variety of colors of pastels using the Sofft small sponge, and I'm just applying some color to various spots. So this is the second stencil, and I will just do a variety of colors, and I'll just let you watch that. A couple of tips on using stencils is make sure that you're holding the stencil down and you are trying not to move it around. The other item is once I lift the stencil straight off, there's going to be crumbs underneath, and I take a clean, larger makeup brush and I just brush those crumbs away. It does lighten the effect, but I'm going for a type of bokeh effect anyways, so I'm fine with that. So after looking at the page, I've decided to add a little bit more color to a few spots. When I'm happy, I will then clean this side off and then move the stencil to the other side of the page and do the same thing. I will also take a larger stencil and do some larger circles. And here we are with the finished page. I've done all the circles I'm going to do. The white circles, remember, are where I use the eraser, and the other circles are Pan Pastel in different colors. I am now going to take it outside and spray it with a workable fixative. You could also use a final fixative. Is from Rita Berman's And Under the Sea. I'm using Faber Castell half soft pastel sticks, a craft knife, and cotton bud. 3 different colors, and you'll see me do that, but I am going to scrape directly onto the page lightly, and I'm going all around. So I'm keeping the light blue to the center, and then I take a darker blue and go around the outside, and then I take a pink and go around near the center area as well. The amount of pastels that is on the page, I will take a clean cotton bud and I will rub in small circles, and I will be lifting up the cotton bud to move it around. So you'll notice that I lift it straight up and then move to the next section. If you just drag it all over the page, I'm going to be mixing all the colors more than I actually want. So I want the darker blue to remain on the outside edge and the lighter pink and the lighter blue mixed in the center. So that's why I'm doing that. As you can tell, I've sped the camera up a little bit because I actually don't work that fast. You'll notice that once I'm done, I take a look at the page and I brush it off with a large clean makeup brush just to get rid of any excess dust. And here I am looking at the page, deciding if it's how I want it to be. And I decide that it's not quite right. And I'm going to take and add a bit more pink around the center area, around the first ring, so to speak, to make that pink a little bit more definite. And I will add a little bit more blue. So I'm just fine-tuning it. So until you are done and you've sprayed it with a fixative, you can keep adjusting and rubbing in more. And I'm using another clean side to the cotton bud because I don't want to have the dark blue that's currently on the cotton bud mixed in with my pink. While I'm adjusting and finishing off this page, just talked a little bit about why I like using pastels. Pastels generally are pretty easy to apply. They won't stick to most pencil crayons. You do need to be a little bit careful, but pencil crayons are usually waxy enough that the pastels tend not to totally stick to them. I do always spray my pages with a fixative though, so that is something to keep in mind. I know people use hairspray, but I've always used a art fixative. And the last example I wanted to share with you is Conte Paris. They are small pastel sticks, and they are tiny. They're adorable. This is a set that was a limited edition that I bought last year, so I'm using my stash up, and I put them directly onto the page, just rubbing them on the side, and then I used the corner to make some deeper grooves. I used a blending stump to mush it around, and then I did some spray fixative. So I've left it kind of sketchy on purpose, so we've got it both light and darker for some shadows and kind of like some a stepping path area there. And with that last example, that wraps up our video on pastels in my coloring books. So just to recap, we've got pan pastels in a bokeh type effect. We've got the Faber Castell soft pastels. We've got just a full coverage. And then we've got the stick pastels by Conte Paris, and use them more as a sketching tool. I hope that this video has been helpful and gave you some ideas. And if you have a favorite method of using pastels in your coloring books, I'd love to read a comment below on how you use them in your books. Until next time, I hope you're having a colorful and creative week, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.